This is the Fan Connection podcast where we talk all things sports entertainment. We're your hosts. I'm Royce Michaels.
And I'm Devin Steele.
Let's get right into it.
So we kicked the Monday Night Raw episode for June 17th off with a shocking return by Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah, he was not gone long, was he? I thought he would definitely be gone until later on in the year.
Yeah, I thought the injury he took was going to be one that took him a little bit longer to come back from for sure.
Yeah,
But he truly cut a good promo as well, saying what he wanted about having the heavyweight championship back.
and that's all good and all. And he was super over. The crowd was still singing his song, Monday Night Rollins, the whole shebang. And his outfit, he was wearing like the white and gold. I did not think that hat suits Seth Rollins though. It makes him look bald when he's wearing it. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't have any hair.
I heard they're trying to bring back the one of the gimmicks he did before, like when he was with the Authority, but not like with the Authority.
Yeah. Damian Priest comes out and he's like talking about how he respects Seth Rollins and he's like, I wanted to cash in on you, man. I wanted to
Yeah, he
cash
he
in on you,
basically
bro.
he basically just gave him a match.
Yeah, he just said, well, Rollins, I'll just wrestle you at Money in the Bank just because. Oh, well,
Yeah, like,
okay.
okay, thanks, guy.
I guess we're getting Seth Rollins versus Gunther at SummerSlam.
Right. Because there ain't
And
no way without the Judgment Day that Damian Priest beats Seth Rollins.
after that botch fest at Clash at the Castle, like, honestly, Seth Rollins might just win just for the hell of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Because Damian Priest he was botch city in that last match, man.
So I guess Damian wants to beat Rollins as an accolade, right? Like he wants the trophy. He wants to cement his title run a little bit more. And I guess that's fine. Money in the Bank, Damian versus Rollins. I'm here for it. Let's see what's up.
Yeah, I'm down for it. Let's see what happens. Moving into our first match of the night, we had Braun Strowman defeating Chad Gable. This David and Goliath shit means that Gable's supposed to win, right?
He got smushed, dude. He literally did get pretty smushed. And I was like, I guess just F Chad Gable, bro. It's like, what's
Like
going
he gets
on?
he gets the loss, but like also what the hell is Otis thinking, bro?
And literally, I guess Otis just doesn't want to learn from the master. None of the Alpha
All he gotta do
Academy
is
wants to.
listen. All they gotta do
Literally,
is listen.
literally, that's all. And they just can't do it. And they don't want to win. They don't want the Intercontinental Championship. They just want to hold hands and be like, well, we tried. Well, whatever, Alpha Academy. Go to the locker room. Get off
Yeah,
TV.
they just didn't know what was good for him, bro. But Braun Strowman did get a win, and that was a squash match. I don't know why they did Chad Gable like that,
Yeah, and
but he deserves better.
I don't know if you heard, like, during the match, Braun Strowman was wailing on Chad Gable, and he's like, I hate bullies. It's like, bro, what? Braun
And
Strowman,
also,
didn't Braun Strowman used to, like, throw people through walls for looking at him the wrong way? Just, like, random people
about
backstage?
that about that line you just said, bro. Remember back in the day when Eric Rowan said that same line when he turned on the Wyatt family?
Yeah, he said he hated bullies, but he spent a lot of time bullying people as well.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like you big guys can't really be saying that about no bully. Isn't that
Yeah,
what you is?
for real though. If anyone's bullying anybody, it's Braun Strowman. He's
Like you
picking on a
literally run
five.
around the ring
He's picking on a
and run
5 foot
people
short
over.
king. He's picking on a short king, and it's like I can't sit here and condone it in good conscience. Chad Gable claims he is going to win the Money in the Bank and successfully cash in order to prove the Alpha Academy wrong. And honestly, like, could you imagine?
That would be crazy. I'm down for it.
That would be pretty insane. I don't see Chad Gable being the undisputed WWE champ, but maybe the world champ someday.
I'd love to see that, man. You know how we feel about Chad Gable over here.
We love him.
Io Sky defeats Kiana James and Zelina Vega. It was a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Not too interesting, but I figured Io would win anyway because she won last year, you know.
And the match was generally kind of dull. The right person definitely won. Kiana James, who? Um,
Right.
I have noticed Zelina Vega has been getting TV time though, and her and Liv Morgan have been feuding a little bit. And I don't know if you've noticed, but in the LWO and Judgment Day segments, Zelina Vega always ends up pulling Liv Morgan off of Dominic. So I'm wondering like what's going on between them. You know what I mean?
Ooh, Zelina's jealous.
I think so, bro. I think she wants a little bit of Dom too.
Wouldn't that be something?
But good for them, I guess. And Io Sky, I don't believe she'll win it. I do think it'll be Tiffany Stratton under the guidance of Nia Jax, Queen of the Ring. But
Right.
I guess we'll see.
I think they put Io Sky in there just because she was in it last year. You
I
know
think
that
so
that gives
too.
commentators something to work with. You know,
And
whoever's commentating
and
on that show, it
I
gives them
think
something to work with.
I think the last person to win the Money in the Bank consecutively was CM Punk, right?
I think so.
So maybe she'll do it. Maybe she'll do it again. But let's talk about Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker and Sheamus having their segment.
Yeah,
So
Sami Zayn kind of came out wondering who he was going to face, and I didn't expect Braun Breaker and Sheamus to step up.
Breaker definitely tried to cut the line. It's like, what claim does he have to an IC title match?
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, he hasn't lost since he's been there, so who says he doesn't these
He
days?
is
You
a
know.
beast as well, though. It's like, who's going to tell him no?
So I mean, we do get a solid promo between all of them. You know. And it was a decent little segment between Sami Zayn trying to choose the best opponent, and then he was just like, "Oh well, y'all two fight over it," you know.
Yeah, and Sheamus is trying to become a Grand Slam champion. So, I mean, he's just trying to be more complete, I guess, you know? Braun Breaker's up and coming. It was just a matchup that was waiting to happen, I kind of feel like.
And I know the match did happen later, but we're going to talk about it now. Kaiser did attack Sheamus, and Braun Breaker kind of beat up everybody, but that does mean that Sheamus gets to face Sami Zayn by
Yeah,
disqualification.
he won by DQ, so technically Sheamus should get an IC title match.
So what I'm thinking is going to happen is we're going to get a banger, and it's going to be Sheamus versus Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker for the IC title triple threat.
That would be sick.
What you think about that, buddy?
I just hope Ludwig Kaiser minds his own business because he kind of ruined that match. I kind of thought that was the best match on Raw until it was cut short.
It definitely had the most going for it out of all the matches that we had for the most part. You know, going up into that one, it was the one that I was like, dang, this is gonna be a banger anyway. You know, because like who thought Sheamus and Braun Breaker was gonna be fighting tonight? You know,
And Sheamus had the crowd, but I will say the dog barks were loud. Like they were getting louder. And Braun Breaker didn't discriminate. He speared straight through Kaiser and straight through Sheamus. And I think if Sami Zayn would have been out there standing in his way too, Sami Zayn would
oh
have got one.
he got a piece of Sami Zayn too, man. That's what I meant by he beat up everyone. He got a piece of Sammy too. He was sitting at commentary.
Yeah, but he didn't get a spear.
Moving into our next match, Carlito defeated Dragon Lee. Who cares?
Oh boy. You know, I like good for Carlito, I guess. I mean, it's just more LWO versus Judgment Day. Carlito goes over Dragon Lee. Who cares about Dragon Lee?
It just gives the Judgment Day more TV time.
Yeah,
That's all it
I
is.
guess Carlito is a full-fledged member of the Judgment Day now, and Dragon Lee is just he's a loser. He's dollar store Ray, and I think that's all he'll ever be as long as Ray is still around.
Right.
I think he'll always be compared to Rey Mysterio because he just looks too similar. He works in the ring too similar. He obviously takes a lot of inspiration, and that's not bad. I'm not saying he's copying him. I'm just saying I don't feel like he has much individuality when you put him on TV next to Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio is already over. He's been over, dude. He's been over for like 20 years. Dragon Lee can't compete when he's standing next to Rey Mysterio. and it just makes him fade into the background. And it's like, okay, well, Carlito beat Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee lost to Finn Balor, and he says he's the next big thing. Who cares? WWE does not care about Dragon Lee, and neither do I.
Me neither. Like I said, who cares? Moving into something we did care about, though. Drew McIntyre says I quit.
It obviously was kayfabe. You know what I mean? It was just Drew McIntyre. Nobody's quitting on live TV from WWE like that. Number one, and then number two, why is Drew McIntyre going to go anywhere? He's just
Yeah,
mad.
well, he's just mad because CM Punk won't like face him right now because he's injured.
He's just mad. He's like, CM Punk ruined my title match, and you know what? I'd be upset too. But Drew McIntyre is kind of on a crying streak right now. He seems to just go out there and complain.
Yeah, he's being a crybaby.
And I guess it's because there's nothing he can do about it. CM Punk's not medically cleared. And I guess he quit. So, like, I don't know. I guess he quit just because he couldn't do anything about it. And nobody else was doing anything about it.
And like to be honest, like that was such a short segment. That's like about all there is to say about Drew on that.
He really didn't say much, did he?
Not really, dude. Like his promo was short, sweet, and to the point.
But after that, there was a match, a women's tag team match. Kaden Carter and Chance defeat Damage Control. Uh, okay. Damage Control
That was a
loses, an established tag team loses
that
for
was a
for
dual
no
match to
reason
me.
either.
I really wanted Damage Control to go over, bro, because we've been talking about it for weeks. Like where they been at, where y'all at, and
Yeah,
then they're finally here and they lose. Like, dude, what are y'all doing?
neither of these teams are concerned about gold, and this whole thing is like Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky or something because of Queen of the Ring, and everybody's forgotten about that now. Besides Nia Jax, I guess. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like who is like I don't know if we need a segment about this on every Monday Night Raw.
And like Damage Control is like such a good tag team. They just need to like let them do something, man. We've been talking about
And I
that.
understand they had a long title run and everything, and there's other teams, but I mean, just something needs to happen with the women's tag team division. I feel like it's in limbo, and it has been for a minute.
It's been pretty stagnant of recent. Moving into our main event, though, Jay Uso defeats Finn Balor and Rey Mysterio to qualify for the Money in the Bank match.
So
It was a
this
good
was a
one to
good
me.
match.
Yeah, it was a good one to me, man. Everyone played their part.
Obviously, Jey Uso is gonna win and qualify for Money in the Bank. I do realistically believe Jey Uso will be Mr. Money in the Bank. Although I would like to see LA Knight or Chad Gable. I think Jey Uso probably will win.
Yeah, and out of them three too, like Finn Balor, Rey Mysterio, I mean that's just like we already knew that. Like we didn't even think Jey Uso was qualifying. We thought he was just in it. Like
Yeah, yeah, he
he
claimed he
wasn't
was
gonna
in
have
it.
to. He wasn't gonna have to qualify either way. Like we knew he was gonna be in it.
And I mean, Finn Balor would have been a good choice, and they couldn't have went wrong with Rey Mysterio either. But do either one of them really need it? Not really.
No, because like the only way it'd be good was the way that Damian Priest came at Finn Balor about the briefcase earlier in Raw. That was pretty interesting too. He was like, you're gonna cash in on Cody, right? And he was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna cash in on Cody. Like that would be the only way that would be interesting is if he cashed in on Damian Priest, but he's not gonna hold the title long enough.
Yeah, for sure. And so Rey Mysterio was actually doing pretty well. There was a lot of 619ing going around,
Oh
and
yeah, he
the
was 619
Judgment
in
Day.
legs.
Yeah, the Judgment Day like beats him up. Dominic comes out and beats him up and everything, and that's cool and all. LWO and Judgment Day, that's fine. Um, but Braun Strowman comes out and is just used as a convenient plot device to get the Judgment Day away from ringside. And it's like, come on. Did we really have to do that? Did Braun Strowman have to come out for the second time in the show?
Right.
I don't
But
know.
at the end, Jay gets the W, dude. And then all of a sudden, everybody's yeeting. We all yeeting out here, man.
Yeah,
And everything goes dark.
at the end, the Wyatt Six makes their debut, and that really set the wrestling world like ablaze. Like people were buzzing about that for days after this, and I
Like,
feel
dude,
like there's still a lot of discussion going around.
WWE couldn't have done this better, bro, because like that was like cinema, man. Like when I tell you I got on TikTok the next day and that's all I seen was Uncle Howdy stuff, bro. Like it gave me chills how much like something from the wrestling world made it out to the real world. You know, like everybody thought that was cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and before we really dive deep into it and discuss all the details, I just want to talk about I want to give WWE a little bit of props for their strategic placement of Jey Uso during the show. Because number one, he's main event Jey Uso, and they need to place him in the main event as much as possible. And number
Right.
two, they placed him in the main event before the Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six debut, so the Fireflies would be out. He was strategically placed so the Fireflies would already be out.
Them fireflies was flying, but after all that, Jey Uso said, "Y'all can have the fireflies back."
Yeah, and it's crazy, man. In the building, while that was going on, and the camera work and everything, like you could really feel Bray Wyatt in spirit. Like they were trying their best. You know, they were really trying to honor Bray Wyatt, and I think they did a great job. I'm hyped for real. I want to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready for the next Raw, bro. If they keep doing it this way, we got something special on our hands.
And going into the back, like the Wyatt Six members are like revealed to us one by one, and there's just like a bunch of carnage around them. And it's just like pretty much all the people that were on the show that night just had been like laid to waste. Like everybody was bleeding and laid out. And I don't know if you've noticed all of the characters, like the camera panned by all the members of the Wyatt Six, they they were the puppets from Bray Wyatt's like Funhouse. Like
Yeah,
there
they
was a
were all
pig, the
characters.
vulture, the witch, and the rabbit. And
They were
so
all characters in Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse.
yeah, and so Bray Wyatt was definitely there in spirit, and Uncle Howdy was wearing the Bray Wyatt gloves. Like I think he was wearing the same gloves that the Fiend wore. And so they're called the Wyatt Six. I only saw 5 of them, so I'm wondering where the sixth member is. Like I wonder if it's like you said, Bray Wyatt in spirit, or if later on they're gonna call out to Braun Strowman or something and get him to join up with them. I don't
Or
know.
even Alexis Bliss or somebody.
Yeah, because she was involved with Bray Wyatt quite a bit.
And like she hasn't been around, so that could be her new debut, you know?
But yeah, practically WWE built a haunted house in the back for the debut of the Wyatt Six, and they littered it with all these little details and all these reveals and stuff. And they seem to be focusing on Chad Gable most of all.
I was about to say, man, I just wanna point one thing out. It made it look like our boy Chad Gable got shot in his dang head.
Yeah, it did look like he had a hole in his head. I'm wondering when WWE became okay with blood again, dude, because it's on like every episode now. There and people are starting to cuss and stuff. It's like I'm wondering when this became okay.
Well,
It just
I'm
kind of
down for it,
happened over
bro.
time. I like it. I'm not trying to make it go away. I'm just saying nobody ever come out and said that it was fine again. People just kind of started doing it.
And that I guess that's how we'll know, bro. Once they just start coming out and saying some crazy shit on TV, we'll know it happened. You know?
But that is it for Monday Night Raw, and we're ready for the White Six.
Going
So
into SmackDown on June 21st.
CM Punk comes out and he starts the show, and Paul Heyman comes out. And what a reunion in Chicago, of all places. Paul Heyman and the best in the world, CM Punk, shared a
You
little
know, you know,
hug.
see, CM Punk always been a Paul Heyman guy.
And bro, it's like it was crazy. Like Paul Heyman just kind of melted. He was so scared. But I mean,
He's like, I
practically
needed that.
he come out just to warn CM Punk of the bloodline. And I don't know who Solo Sikoa thinks he is, because he's biting off more than he can chew. How is he going to take on CM Punk and Cody Rhodes at the same time?
I don't know, man. He cut Paul Heyman and CM Punk off, and that drove the freaking fans crazy. Okay. Then they try to jump Punk. Cody Rhodes comes out with some baseball bats, and then I'm like, yeah, Solo, what you gonna do now? Because I mean, who's gonna jump in there with guys with baseball bats? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's fine and all. Like Solo Sikoa, I don't know if you caught this, and I want to mention this before we completely move on. Solo Sikoa was by Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman said he was the head of the table, like not Roman
Yeah,
Reigns. Like Paul
yeah.
Heyman admitted Solo Sikoa is now the tribal chief, and people were
Oh,
chanting for Roman Reigns.
dude, I also
Still,
liked in that segment when they were talking about it, like CM Punk asked Heyman, he was like, "Well, what do I have to do for you?" And he was like, "Take me with you." Dude,
oh
that
yeah,
was
dude.
perfect.
Paul
That was
Heyman's
so
trying to get
perfect.
out of the bloodline. Like they're terrible to Paul Heyman. But since when has Cody Rhodes and CM Punk like teamed up? Like I think CM Punk was in the ring when Cody Rhodes defeated Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, like in the celebration. Like I don't think there was any bad blood between them, but I didn't know they were like teaming up and stuff.
Yeah, no, since when do they have each other's back?
I don't know. I guess it was just because CM Punk was being targeted by the bloodline, maybe.
That's true. We have Chelsea Green defeating Belair and Mi Chin.
Yeah, good pick by WWE once again. I'm just gonna say so.
Chelsea Green is
Imagine
really going to Money in the Bank.
Imagine if Chelsea Green is Miss Money in the Bank. That'd be crazy.
That's going to be really annoying.
I really expected Bianca to go over. Nobody expected Mitchin to win. Like, Mitchin who, bro? She's getting buried. Every single match she's in, she just loses. She has no character, no TV time, no promos. I don't know who you are.
Yeah, I myself thought that Belair was going to win, dude. I was surprised when Chelsea Green won, but I
Me
mean,
too.
good for her. She's the newest one out of all of them, so
Yeah,
that's probably why.
like I said, dude, great pick. Great pick. Chelsea Green in the Money in the Bank match. I think that's going to be interesting. I think it'll be entertaining. So DIY and A Town Down Under were like having a segment, and they're arguing and they're talking about the Austin Theory stuff, and then they get interrupted by like this horrible banging on the wall. And the door opens and CM Punk's like laying in a heap, like all bloodied up, like teeth missing out of his head and stuff. And Drew McIntyre's standing over him. And so it's like, I guess Drew's back now. He didn't really quit, or maybe he just temporarily quit. If he
Dude,
if he quit, he just beat a man to near death and then walked into the building and left him there, and nobody did anything. Where was security?
I just want to say, you know how freaking strong you got to be able to carry a grown man dead weight that far? Like
CM
Drew
Punk's not
McIntyre is
small
that
either, for
strong.
real. CM Punk's like 250, I think, dude. Like he's not little.
Like that was, I mean, it wasn't the longest segment, but that was still a pretty good segment the way they did it.
Yeah, there wasn't much to be said, but once again, like I said, blood in every episode now.
Hey, I think they're building to make that match either a Hell in a Cell or a steel cage match, bro. I could see it happening, or
I
a,
don't
or a no DQ match or something.
I don't know, but I think SummerSlam is when that's going to come to a head, and I think CM Punk will move on after SummerSlam.
Yeah, because after this attack, we probably won't see him again until right before that match happens. Because
Yeah,
he probably ain't cleared yet.
I think it won't be until after Money in the Bank sometime when we see CM Punk again.
Moving on to our next match, Carmelo Hayes defeated Randy Orton and Tama Tonga. I figured they wanted Tama Tonga going to Money in the Bank,
I thought it was going to be Randy.
but for certain, Carmelo Hayes ain't winning that briefcase, buddy.
Absolutely not.
There's no chance.
And Randy wouldn't have either if he went to the Money in the Bank. But I
No,
mean,
Randy would have just been a name, and I think they knew that. That's why they played the Carmelo Hayes thing.
but I'm sitting here, I'm so sick of KO and Randy versus the Tongos, bro. It's like, Jesus Christ. How many times are we going to see this match?
It is getting kind of stale, man. Like they always running out and fighting them. Like either one of y'all get hurt or somebody like y'all actually have a match. Like they haven't had a like
Like,
2v2
figure
and like
something
do
out.
something.
Figure
You
something
know,
out. Kiss already. But regardless, we've got a newbie, a first-time Money in the Banker, going to Money in the Bank this year, and I guess we'll
right?
see whether or not Carmelo Hayes really is him.
Which he's not. But anyway, moving on. LA Knight calls out Logan Paul again, and somehow Santos Escobar thinks he knows what he's doing and comes out and gets beat up.
Yeah, who? Why did Santos Escobar think anybody was talking to him?
Like that segment right there proves what everybody feels about him. Like he comes out and just gets beat up, like just like that. Like that's how we feel about him.
Yeah, and he just interrupts him directly. He just attacks him like mid-sentence. Doesn't let LA say what he's gonna say. And I mean, it's fine and all, dude. He was just there so LA Knight would be distracted and Logan Paul could sneak in and do what he had to do with his brass knuckles. And it's cool and all. I mean, Santos Escobar is obviously just another hurdle on LA Knight's way to winning the U.S. Championship. So I guess we're gonna have to
Logan
sit through
Paul
that match.
Logan Paul came out and he jumped LA Knight after Santos Escobar got beat up by LA Knight. Just give us the title match already.
Yeah, apparently it's Santos, LA, and Logan Paul qualifying for Money in the Bank. Okay, I mean,
And LA Knight already said if he wins Money in the Bank, he's cashing in on the U.S. title and beating Logan Paul. So, like, I don't want him to win.
I wouldn't mind seeing LA Knight winning the Money in the Bank, but he does not need to cash in on the United States title. Like, why wouldn't you go for the greatest prize? That
That's
doesn't
what
make
I'm saying,
sense.
man.
And LA Knight is over enough to be a world champion. I just don't know if he is, you know, the company's guy to be the WWE champion.
Yeah, no, because he's still a little bit older than some of these other guys, too.
I think his moment is coming though. LA Knight's moment is definitely coming. So I'm just gonna have to be patient.
Our next match, Andrade defeated Kevin Owens and Grayson Waller. So, I don't know if you noticed, bro, but neither Carmelo or Andrade had an entrance, and they both are going to Money in the Bank.
I didn't notice that they didn't have an entrance. Um, I did kind of notice that the lineup for this match was weird. Is like Andrade, KO, and Grayson Waller. I don't really know
But
who should have won this. You know what I mean?
But the way Andrade did beat Grayson Waller, I like the way he reversed his Grayson Waller's finisher move. Like that was cool. The way he did get the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, bro. I mean, good for Andrade. He's the speed champion, and now he's going to Money in the Bank. I do not think he will win. I think he's going to be like, he's like, people are not going to remember that he was supposed to be part of the match, I think. But, good for him, bro. Main event time. Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes. And I mean, it goes about the way you would expect it to.
Cody
Bloodline
wins by
interference.
DQ. Yep.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine, I guess.
I
We
knew
didn't
the
we
fake
didn't want to
bloodline
watch
was
that
jumping
match
Cody.
anyway. We didn't want to see that.
I knew the fake bloodline was jumping Cody. Also, the numbers switched a little bit there at the end.
Yeah, and bro, I don't know if you can call them the fake bloodline anymore, dude. Paul Heyman said it himself. Solo Sikoa is the tribal chief. And Roman
I would
Reigns
never.
apparently is not coming back, is what Solo Sikoa said to Paul Heyman before the match. So what does that mean? What does that mean,
I
Roman
might.
Reigns isn't coming back?
I'm not giving up on Roman Reigns, man.
Well, I don't know. I think regardless, I've got to salute the new tribal chief because after
Well,
Jacob
yeah,
Fatu
I was
debuts,
about to say, you'd have to after that.
yeah, I think I would have to salute the new tribal chief.
But two had and Tomatonga looking scared.
But I
At the
mean,
end, when they all put their fingers up, bro, like they was all looking scared of him.
yeah, and
And I was
and
like, dang, I thought Tonga Tonga was supposed to be the crazy one.
bro, yeah, Jacob Fatu, he definitely left his mark. He beat the hell out of Cody Rhodes, put him through the table. He ate like a super kick or something and just like laughed it off pretty much. He was going crazy.
Yeah, he definitely did some wild stuff. That means that we're gonna get Zilla next, though.
Yeah, I do think that too. And I think that's one of our Survivor Series teams right there.
Yep, Zilla Fatu will be on the Usos side just because he's the youngest one. He's gonna want to be on their side, you know. But then Jacob Fatu's already, as we see, in the fake bloodline, as I'm gonna call him. And then we'll get my bloodline, the real bloodline, our tribal chief Roman Reigns leading the other one.
I like both tribal chiefs, but I have to salute Solo Sikoa because he's the
I like
acting tribal chief.
I like to see where this will go. Then we're both bent.
I know I'm sick of KO and Randy versus the Tongas though, and we got to see them 2 times in the same SmackDown. So, oh boy.
I guess that's kind of why we got Jacob Fatu putting them down a little bit, you know, because Kevin Owens was already kind of hurt. So, like, I mean, dang, they got to be off TV for at least a week, you know.
Yeah, and can KO and Randy really keep up now that there's another member of the bloodline? They were already kind of losing, you know. They've been fighting an
Right.
uphill battle for a long, long time. But that is it for SmackDown.
Moving into other sports entertainment news, like we got Money in the Bank coming up. I don't know how the WWE did it, but they kind of pulled a fast one on us because we thought it was SummerSlam. That's what we've been saying in the past podcast.
And I
But
feel like it was
it's
advertised that way.
Yeah, so it's like I think they thought they were gonna get the pass on like 2 nights for SummerSlam, so they were just gonna throw Money in the Bank at either the first or second night, you know, and make that one of the whole nights and make it big because they have women and the men's, you know, which that would be good. But they didn't get that pass soon enough, so like now they have to have Money in the Bank too, type thing, you know?
And I really think they just needed something to do on Raw and SmackDown. They needed qualifying matches, reasons for people to be competing. I don't like, I mean, from a storyline perspective, people declaring themselves for Money in the Bank is one thing, people earning the right to compete in the Money in the Bank is another. So
Right.
I
And
understand.
And the simple fact that they're letting all these new guys get the chance to do it is like you can slowly see how WWE's taking that transition. You know what I mean? Like how they did back in the day
Yeah,
with the Alberto Del Rios and the Wade Barretts and the Sheamuses. You know, when they took the chance on them, that's what they're doing with these guys now.
and the older guys I feel like are doing their job of letting some of these new guys have their moment and building stars, right?
Right. And as of right now, all the going into Money in the Bank, the storylines are pretty set too. If you think about it, you know, like they could go so many ways with so much right now. Like we're leading up into another good pay per view.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Money in the Bank. I've made my predictions for who I think is going to be Mrs. Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton. And for Mr. Money in the Bank, I do believe it will be Jey Uso out of everybody that's been confirmed so far. But, I think my prediction could change depending on who qualifies.
I'm thinking either for the women's, I'm thinking Io Sky either wins it for the second year in a row, or Tiffany Stratton or Chelsea Green's going to win it. That's my guesses on women. On the men Money in the Bank, I think there ain't no other way that Jey Uso or maybe Chad Gable if he's still in the match. Because we don't know what Uncle Howdy did with him.
Yeah, and Chad Gable has not qualified yet. He's going to be in a match against Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. next
And we don't know
Monday.
how true it is, but I have heard rumors that Ilya Dragunov is taking his spot in that match to keep the storyline with the Wyatt Six going. So if that's true, then maybe we don't get to see Chad Gable
No,
in the Money in the Bank match.
apparently, like the Wyatt Six is focusing on Chad Gable, like they're attacking Chad Gable because he turned heel. And it's like he used to be a good guy, now he's evil, and so they're like, "What happened to you, man?"
This
Like,
man stopped saying thank you.
yeah, I went and looked at all the clues and did a whole lot of reading up and stuff on the Wyatt Six in preparation for the podcast, and it seems Chad Gable is his pick for his first target. So I'm wondering what his plans are. Is he's gonna try to turn Chad Gable face again?
Maybe something like that, or he'll go after Otis and all them and find out how much he actually cares about them.
Maybe he'll maybe he'll be on like some Saw stuff, dude. like.
It's like you think you hate them until I get after them.
Yeah, he's like save Otis, and
He's like,
and
yes, sir.
and Chad Gable has to.
He's like, I was digging bullets out of my head.
That's crazy, bro. I'm really wondering where that's gonna go, and I think all the costumes looked great. I'm wondering what their theme music is gonna be. I hope it's not just that little piano key dinging, because that's
Yeah.
that's not gonna be streamed millions of times on YouTube, and I think they need something better than that.
Also, talking other sports entertainment news right now. Joe Hendry debuted in NXT.
I heard of this. I very, very lightly heard of this. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Me too, man. Let it happen. That's all I gotta say about
Yeah,
that
bro. Let
situation.
I just really want to see what they're gonna do with him.
But next we gonna kind of switch it up a little bit. So for everybody that's been listening to us and like tuning in and liking and subscribing and like just listening to our podcast every time we put one up,
Yeah, interacting with
we
the
wanna
video.
we wanna talk about us a little bit. Like I'm Royce Michaels,
And I'm Devin Steele.
and we're just like normal guys that like we met each other in high school, man. Like one day on the bus, we were like, "Hey, do you like wrestling?" Another one was like, "Yeah." And dude, ever since, like we've been talking about it for years. Like since we've seen so many good storylines in our era of watching wrestling.
And I feel like we're very similar as we've been watching WWE and all kinds of wrestling like growing up and stuff, and it's like that was a big part of me and my dad's like relationship. Like we bonded over wrestling and stuff like that, and that's where I feel like a lot of my passion for it comes from, is
Right.
those memories and going to the shows, and and the just the ups and downs of wrestling, the entertainment part of it, just being involved, even just being a fan, and
I I vaguely remember, bro, one time on the school bus, me and you was like on our way to school, and you told me like, "Hey, me and my dad's going to SmackDown this Friday." And bro, I was so jealous of you. Like I was watching Friday Night SmackDown, trying to find you and your dad in the crowd. You know, like, dude, where's he at? Like, am I gonna see him on TV? Like, it was so cool that you were there. And I was watching it on TV. Like, it was like I want to be there, but at the same time, am I gonna get to see you on TV?
yeah, that's a great that's a good memory of mine. I really enjoyed going to that SmackDown with my dad, and Bray Wyatt was there actually. Speaking of him, Roman Reigns was there. This was back when the Meta Powers were a thing. Curtis Axel and Damian Sandow when I went to this
Yeah.
SmackDown. It's been that long.
And also like we turned our passion from watching it, talking about it, like we went from like chilling at each other's houses playing, like WWE 2K, like freaking 12, 11, 13, 14, all those old games, bro. We were playing those, talking about it. And we're like, we can do that. Even though it says don't try this at home, we're gonna try this at home. So we
Exactly.
started like doing it at my house, at your house. We started having matches, bro, and like it was fun. Like that was the most fun I've ever had. Like actually just like being myself, casually doing some stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, bro, those storylines and the matches were so much fun. Maybe they weren't TV quality, but they we had a lot of fun. And I we've been working really hard, me and you together, getting in shape and practicing, and like we're working on trying to develop our characters, and we want to step in the ring ourselves at some point.
Right. Like we like it's like any other wrestler, you know, like we start with like the passion for it, want to do it, start practicing. Now we need to get out there, you know, like that's the point we're at now. And it's so cool that we can look back at everything that we dreamed about and see that like we're this close to finally being there, bro.
And I guess what we're trying to say is everybody along the way for the first 5 episodes, everyone who's interacted with the video whatsoever, is that we're glad that we're getting to share our passion with you.
Like we're not just some random guys, you know, like random guys that like don't really know each other, just making some content. Like we're truly passionate about wrestling. Like when we give you our opinions, like we literally be taking notes, like writing down how we feel. Like we're like this is our heart, this is our passion. Like we give our blood, sweat, and tears to the podcast. We give our blood, sweat, and tears to when we practice wrestling to make sure that neither one of us are injured, we make sure that each other's good. Like we protect each other. Like we try to do what we can to like, you know, make sure that the wrestling side of our friendship is going the way it wants to go, you know?
And I just want to thank everybody as well that's listened to the end of the video, and has just been there. Have
If you've made it this far, you're a real one for sure.
And with all that said, I think it's time for the fan connection to sign out.
Yeah, that's about it for us. Like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah, and we really mean it. It would be if all the people who watched our videos would just comment or like or subscribe, we could get new people in here, and we could all, start discussing things together, and we could
Yeah, leave
talk
us
about
topics to
what you
talk
guys want
about.
to talk
Like
about.
leave a comment and whatever you want to talk about. When we get to our other sports news part at the end, we'll talk about the comment section of what y'all want to talk about too. Like we'll get reacting to what y'all say too, but we you know like we got to react with each other as well.
So thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. But for this episode, the fan connection is out of here.
Peace.